So what's up, guys, and welcome back to another video on the channel by me, Barrow on Tour. Yes, I'm back with another video on the channel. In today's video then, and I am more than welcome to be joined by Barrow fan Connor. How are you doing today, mate?
I'm doing good, mate. I'm doing good. What about you?
Yeah, I'm doing very, very well. So in today's video then, we're going to be speaking about what our thoughts are on the 7 signings that have come in. What are the thoughts on Pete Wild and how our preparations are going for the season. So first off, Connor, what are your thoughts on the appointment of Pete Wild?
I reckon it's a good appointment, mainly because like with Ian Evatt, he came from not much experience. Obviously, he wasn't known as one of the top managers. He did very well for us, which is why I think we need to steer. We've steered away from getting managers with experience, and we're going for new blood, technically.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think it'll be a good era with. I think the board are backing him. I really like the blogs that he's put out. Like he keeps putting out every week, updating the fans with getting a connection with the fans, and hopefully that can carry on for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what we want. That's what we want. We want a manager who will engage with the fans rather than just do a half-assed interview at the end of a match or before a match. Yeah. Like some can argue that's what Mark Cooper did. Whereas this manager, he wants to get involved. He wants to meet the fans. The Q&A session tomorrow, that'll give us a bigger insight on what we can expect throughout the season. So I'm feeling optimistic. Yeah, so
I think we're in for a very, very exciting season. Now let's move on to the first signing that was announced in Billy Waters. What were your insight thoughts on Billy Waters joining Barrow?
I don't know too much about him, but we do need number 9, and he has got numbers internationally. Whether he can bring that form to League 2, which is a step higher, it remains to be seen. But I do feel optimistic about him. He does look like a decent player, an all-round very good player.
Yeah, so, reading off the article that he said, he's already played in League 2. Well, in League 2 teams, he's been at Northampton. He was at Crewe and stuff like that. So hopefully it can bring the experience from the National League and from them clubs into the Football League.
Yeah, hopefully.
So the next player that got announced was Solomon Nukaweki from Woking. What were your thoughts on that one?
Again, another player I don't know too much about. I've looked into him, and I haven't really read good things about him, but then again, he could be one of those. If our manager has identified him as someone who he can get the best out of, then that's all we want. Someone our manager can see getting the best out of him. He could play terrible for loads of different clubs. Under the right manager and in the right position, he could be a world-class player. But it remains to be seen whether he can score goals, he can assist goals, he can do good for the club or not.
Yeah, I've not really heard much about him. 41 games, 6 yellow cards, no goals, no assists in the midfield. Not really something we really... Hopefully, as you said there, Pete Wild can adapt him with a tempo, and hopefully we can look forward to seeing what he can bring in the midfield. Next player then, Sam Foley. What were your thoughts on that being announced?
What position was he again? I completely forgot.
Centre midfielder, I think.
Is he the one from
Tranmere?
Yeah. I have actually I've seen him play for Tranmere. Actually, he's not a bad player. Tranmere fans are actually they're in two minds. Some are really, really gutted to see him go. Yeah. Some are glad to see him go, but they're probably the bitter ones anyway. So I reckon he could be. We need a midfielder that can like Ollie Banks is gone now. Yeah. So I feel like he could be the Ollie Banks type player for his replacement. But Ollie Banks was good when he first joined. He started to dip off towards the end of the season.
A lot of fans are saying now we've got the replacement of Ollie Banks. Well, we had that in December, saying Rooney's the replacement of Ollie Banks. Personally, I would like to see us bring us another midfielder, but I don't really know who we could look at. Well, Callum Cook's contract is up today, so I don't know if anything's come out about that. We could potentially get talks with him, maybe.
I've heard some things that he could potentially be joining us. Barrow did tease something on their social media yesterday.
Yeah,
however, I'm not sure if that was a tease or whether they were just saying something. But obviously, they won't be able to announce it until today, anyways, with him still being contracted with Bradford. But I have heard things that he could potentially be joining us, whether it's true or not, because it's not Andy Cook. Andy Cook's staying at Bradford. That's done. But Callum Cook could potentially be joining us, but I'll wait until the announcement's made if there is an announcement.
Yeah, hopefully he'll join. But next player then, Tyrone Warren. What were your thoughts on this one being announced?
Another Halifax player, and Pete obviously knows him. So I feel like the reason we brought him in is because I think we want to push Hutton more to a right winger rather than a right back, because he was playing more upfield and he was doing very good more further up the pitch, but that left the right back position kind of like left open. So I feel like if he plays right wing and we get Tyrone Warren at right back, I feel like that's what he has in mind for that. I think he's not so bad.
Personally, I don't know really what formation he'll actually provide in the the system Pete Wild wants to play. I've heard from a journalist, sort of. I think he's a journalist, but that Pete Wild, he wants the journalist that said Pete Wild maybe play the 4-4-2 formation. What are your thoughts on that?
Anything's better than a 5-back. After seeing the 5-back used multiple times last season, it just doesn't work as well in League Two than it does in other leagues. Four at the back is probably the best. Even then, you could potentially push the midfield, the right mid and the left mid up further up to like a winger, but they're not technically a winger. But even then, like I say, you could adapt Hutton into the right mid role and still play Tyrone Warren at right back. You could even play them left back and right back. It all depends what Pete Well has in mind for them.
Yeah. Next one then that got announced. Trying to think who got announced now. What were your thoughts on Richie Bennett joining back?
Very, very excited to see him back. He was very, very, very key in our unbeaten streak back in 2016-17. He was a very good player, him and Jordan Williams. It's a shame we can't get Jordan Williams back because those two were very, very crucial in our unbeaten streak back then. Very good in his first spell. He can score goals. That's obvious. That's obvious. He can score goals. Yeah. Whether he can do it in this league like he did in the National League, I'm not too sure. But I still reckon he's very, very good player and he could definitely get us a few goals.
What was his goal record like when he was at Sutton? Do you know?
Not really. I did look into him a bit, but I didn't really pay much attention to how many goals he scored. I did watch him a few times when he did make an appearance, and he did do quite well, but I can't remember how many goals he scored. Yeah.
I'm really excited to see what Bennett can bring back to us, to be honest. But next player then, an exciting one, because I thought it was never going to happen. Well, I thought we would never get connections with this player, but Sam Mclean from Chelsea on loan. What were your insights on that one?
One of my friends is a Chelsea fan, and he's like full-on Chelsea fan. He looks into like the youth player who they've got coming through, and apparently he is a very, very promising centre back. He's obviously not much experience, but he's had the coaching from a Premier League club to potentially fit in at a lower league side. I reckon he'll do quite well. And I mean, obviously, I don't want to big him up, but coming from a club like Chelsea, which I never thought we'd ever have connections with anyone from any of the top 6 clubs, I reckon it's a quite good sign, and he should do quite well.
Yeah, personally, I think he'll do quite well. I didn't see where the connections was with that, but I'm guessing he's from the Manchester area, because that's what Wild said. He wants to bring people in from the Manchester area, because with us training in the greater Manchester area, it would be easy to attract players to Barrow.
Yeah.
So next one then, George Foley from Exeter City. Well, not George Foley, George Ray joining us from Exeter City on a 2-year deal. What were your insights on this one?
Well, we're signing someone who's obviously got experience in this league last season, obviously with Exeter. there are a few bad things I've heard about him from other fans. Again, it's also the same with the Tranmere players. Some fans are saying he's very good. Some fans are saying he's very bad. It's mainly a matter of opinion. They could be going to see him go and then decide to call him shite when he could be really good. It's just a matter of how people perceive how he played. I've personally not seen him play, but I've like I say, I've seen some clips, I've seen some stuff online. That's all I can really go off. I think it'd be a good player, someone from the league, someone who got promoted with Exeter. There's bags of experience there from the league. So.
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully, is he going to be the Matty Platt replacement to go alongside Niall Canavan? What do you think that's what Wild? I
wouldn't like to see the two of them together, mainly because they both remind me of not fully agile players, if that makes sense. Niall Canavan doesn't fill me with the confidence of someone who's fast, quick on the ball, someone who can run but put a tackle in. If they miss it, run back and put another tackle in. They just don't fill me with both of them being. You need one agile player, in my opinion, someone who's big and bulky and can get past him. But the two of them together, I feel like you need an agile player. Like Matty Platt was quite a quick, agile player. So maybe the Chelsea loanee could be in there as well. But I don't see the two of them playing together personally.
Yeah. So now moving on to pre-season, then. So Hull Crow boys on Saturday. Are you going to that game or not?
Yeah, maybe. I think I haven't checked my roster. I might be in work, but if I'm not at work, I probably will go there. I go there every year because that's the pre-season game that I tend to go to because it's just up the road.
Yeah.
It's not that much that far. It's a good like it's good to support the young the other the local teams as well as it's good to support them. So it's a nice little pre-season game, to be honest. So yeah, I'll probably will go if I'm at work.
Yeah, so our pre-season fixtures then: Hull Crow boys, Ashton United, South Shields, Winton Albion, Salford and Fleetwood. Two decent ones in there, Salford and Fleetwood. What were you excited of them being announced in Salford and Fleetwood as pre-season friendlies?
A bit of a relief, really, because we only seem to be playing non-league sides, which has confused me a little. We thought we would have been going for teams which are like either in League One or even just League Two friendlies. Obviously, we've got Salford, but apart from that, we seem to just be playing like Penrith and Ashton United and teams like that, which I was a bit confused by. But I think Fleetwood would be a good. That's at home. They're both at home. It would have been nice to have an away game to one of them. But nevertheless, two decent sides. Salford's quite a good side again. Fleetwood narrowly missed relegation to League Two last season, but I reckon they'll be building on that. So they'll be wanting to improve. Same with us, we'll want them to improve. So I reckon that'll be quite an evenly matched pre-season game. Salford, a League Two rival, not a bad game. I'm quite fond of our games between Salford. So I reckon there'll be two brilliant tests of how the season will play. Yeah,
just to correct you on that, Fleetwood are in League One, they're not a League Two side.
No, they nearly got relegated.
Yeah.
League Two is what I meant to say.
Yeah. Just a point in Scott Brown as well as the manager Fleetwood. So hopefully that'll be an exciting one to see. Celtic player and just played for Aberdeen. So hopefully that'll be an interesting. But now let's move on to our. What do we expect for the season? Do we expect mid-table? Do we expect to push for the playoff places? Or do we expect to just see how the season plans out?
Now, that's an interesting question because I think we're being written off more than I reckon we'll do. I feel like everyone's putting us down as relegation candidates because for the past 2 seasons, that's what we've been. But in my opinion, the last 2 seasons, we've been a shambles of a club. We've not had a plan. We've not been backed. We've had multiple different managers. I feel like I'm getting Ian Everett's first season vibes. That's what I'm feeling from it. I feel like we've got a manager who hasn't got much experience, but the experience he does have, it's not so bad. He's getting like players he wants. He is being backed for these players. We're not just signing free transfers that have been let go from clubs. We're obviously scouting them and we're taking them from rivals rather than just going out buying players,
Yeah.
panic buying. We're not doing any of that. I reckon we'll be dark horses. I can't see us challenging for, the top 3 spots. Even playoffs might be a big ask. I think comfortable mid-table, maybe 14th, 13th, maybe at a push. If we're lucky, we may be able to get playoffs, but I'm just going to say safe, probably about 14th, 13th.
Do you expect us to go on a bit of a cup run as well in like the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, and Papa John's Trophy?
Hopefully, the Papa John's Trophy is. I think we've had one of the best groups we could possibly have ever. Carlisle, we've got a lot to play for in that. We always do. Fleetwood, again, a lot to play for.
Do you really class Fleetwood as a derby as well, or not?
I wouldn't see, because I class Blackpool as derby because that's like a West Coast derby in my opinion. Yeah. It's just across the bay, more or less. I don't know. It's a matter of opinion, really. I'd say some people might.
I think some. Well, I don't think some fans have. Well, I think some fans would think it's a derby. Some fans don't. But personally, I don't think it's a derby. I think Carlisle is probably more of the bigger derby for us.
I'd say the only reason I think I class Blackpool as a derby and Fleetwood not is because we seem to have some form of rivalry with Blackpool. I don't know where it's come from, but we seem to have some form of like. I think it's because when, obviously not football related, every time people from Barrow want to go somewhere for a day out, they go to Blackpool.
Yeah.
I think that's where the partnership and the rivalry comes from, is because that's like somewhere where you just go.
Yeah.
You don't go to Fleetwood or anything. So I think that's why I can class Blackpool as a derby and I don't class Fleetwood as a derby. But it's not a proper derby, if that makes sense. Like Carlisle is our derby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's much we could really talk about other than what do you think? Is there any more positions you would like to see us maybe improve on in the transfer window if we were to make any more signings?
Another striker. Only because if Waters gets injured or Richie Bennett gets injured, we're done. We're done in the attack force. We're pretty much done. In midfield, we're not so bad because we have Tom White, we have Rooney, we've got Foley, we've got a few players in the midfield.
Yeah, we've also got the rights of in the midfield, Robbie Gotts, Jordan Stevens. Yeah. It'd be interesting to see what they can bring in Wild's system next year if they get fitted into the system with Gotts and Stevens, because we've got another year on the contract, I'm pretty sure.
I think it is, yeah. But if we can make one more signing in any position, it'd have to be striker.
Yeah,
it to be. That's the only season. That's if we can make maybe another defender, maybe another midfielder, but striker it should be our main focus.
Yeah, so I don't think there's really much else we can speak about, Connor, but it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. But if you have enjoyed the video, then please don't forget to smash a like, subscribe, shelter, and push this so I've had a time I post the video. And I'll see you on Saturday for our first pre-season vlog of the season. Thanks for coming on, Connor, mate.
No worries. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.